So thanks for coming, everyone. What we're going to be talking about today is internal linking and how to link between pages on your website or your client's websites effectively for SEO. And that means following best practices and certain processes that make it effective for ranking. So just before we dive in, if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, just make sure that you pop it into the chat and I will answer them at the end of the presentation. And we can go through that. Cool. So let's get started. So what you'll learn in this webinar is what is internal linking, what's it all about, why is it important for SEO, why even bother going through that process. There's different types of internal links, so we'll be covering those, the differences between them. And then we'll go through an internal linking strategy. So like a step-by-step guide on generally like a structure to follow through when you're doing internal linking. Then we'll go through some best practices to follow when you're doing that. So it's almost like a little checklist to make sure that you're doing it correctly. All right, so what are internal links? For those of you who don't know, they're basically hyperlinks that connect different pages or resources within the same website or domain. So on your site, as long as there's a link that points to another page on that site, that's considered an internal link. It's basically used to navigate between different sections of a site and helps users and search engines discover and explore the content on the website more effectively. So then what is internal linking then? It's basically the process of creating internal links effectively and correctly throughout a website. So this is generally an ongoing process for websites, especially those that continually add and update content, which is ideally what you or if you're an agency, your clients should be doing on a regular basis to continue getting more visibility in the search results. So it's something that never really ends and something that you want to update as your site evolves. So if you're an agency, here's an agency tip. If your client regularly adds, or your clients regularly adds or updates content on their site, it's important to make sure that you include internal linking as a regular SEO process or service. So if it's a done for you thing, then you can offer that as a service, maybe allocate a few hours a week to doing it for them, or if they want to do it themselves, just show them how and recommend them to do that. So it's really important to do that as a maintenance on a regular basis, especially once content has been updated, added, removed, etc. So why is internal linking important? Firstly, it creates relationships between content pieces. So it establishes a contextual connection between website content. So you might have one page that talks about, I don't know, SEO for beginners, and then that links to subsections like, for example, off-page SEO or on-page SEO. And so they're related in that way. And so it's almost like a spider web of relationships. And it guides visitors to explore related topics or articles. So that's the benefit. So when you're like on a website, you're exploring it, it helps you to find relevant stuff. And it enhances user experiences with additional information and insight. So let's say there's a resource that you want to link to, then that helps and adds value to the visitor. So here's a quick diagram, like a hierarchical view of, let's say, a simple website structure, like the homepage at the top, got category levels on the second level, and the third level, you got the child pages, the end articles, for example. And these arrows are basically links, internal links pointing from one page to another. And that basically gives you an idea. It's like an interconnected web that both search engines and users can travel between these pages and explore. So in terms of So it also assists search engines to better discover content, like I mentioned. So we have, it helps them discover and index pages on the site. So obviously you have the sitemap, but in addition to that, search engines will also view the page and look at the links on there and follow those. And this facilitates crawler navigation for new and updated content. So it's always good to do that. It also distributes link equity and passes on authority from links. So every internal link, assuming it's a do follow link, distributes page authority to the page that it points to. And this is key because it's like almost like a vote of confidence to that next page saying, hey, check this out. And it passes a bit of link juice, a bit of link equity on. So yeah, we call this link juice or link equity, and can pass it from high authority pages to the linked ones, which may be lower authority, and that enhances the rankings of those different pages. It also highlights to Google which content is valuable, because if a page has, let's say, 100 internal links pointing to it in relation to, let's say, average of 10, that kind of is a signal that says, oh, wow, this page is really important because it's been linked to many, many times. It allows users to easily navigate the website. So user experience is really important, especially in Google's eyes. So the more user-friendly, the more of a great experience you can give your visitors, the better. So clear, relevant links help users find the desired information quickly and easily. And this allows them to seamlessly transition between topics or sections on the site. It also encourages content exploration and boosts user satisfaction and retention. So here's an agency tip. So when you look at your client's site structure, think about which pages are the most important and then link to those from easy to access areas, such as like the home page or category pages or the menu bar, submenus. So think of it that way. So you want to make it easy for the user to travel around your site. So let's talk about different types of internal links. So the first one is navigational links. So navigational links are menu items or links prominently displayed on a website's header or top section. It provides users with easy access to key sections or pages on the site. Then you have breadcrumb links. So these are hierarchical navigational aids located near the top of a web page. So typically seen on e-commerce websites. So you can see an example here: home, menswear, t-shirts. So another agency tip. So depending on which CMS or theme that your clients are using, breadcrumbs can usually be switched on in a setting or added with a plugin. So let's say you use WordPress. Typically in the theme, they usually have breadcrumbs enabled. If you use Shopify, typically they're there by default. Just make sure that you have a dig around and see if you don't have them, if there's an option there for that. Here's an example on Waterstones.com, a bookstore. And you can see in the top left here, some breadcrumbs in the category and subcategories that book is located in. And that makes it easy for visitors to click on and explore other books in those categories. Footer links. So these are links located at the bottom or the footer of a website. And they often include important information such as contact details, privacy policies, terms of service, quick access links to central pages. So although they may be less valued, let's say from a link perspective from Google, it's still equally important for your users because they act as a useful resource to find important sections of the site. So here's a quick screenshot of Apple.com's footer, and you can see there's a lot of links here because it's quite a big company. But they have it quite well organized as well, so users can easily locate what they need and where to go. So again, thinking about categorizing internal links, if you have like a menu or a footer like this, really helps in finding or helping your users find what they want. It also helps search engines understand the structure too. So then you have sidebar links. So these are links placed on a website sidebar, usually providing navigation or access to specific sections or related content. So maybe you're on the category page of a site, and on the sidebar, it lists the subcategories of that category. And then you can easily navigate from there. So it makes it much easier to kind of drill down in terms of what sections of the site you want to go to. So this is commonly used to offer supplementary links without cluttering the main content area, because you don't always want to have all the links everywhere. You want to organize them well. Contextual links. These are considered the most valuable in terms of backlinking perspective, or from a Google's point of view. Also from a user, because basically they're links embedded within the body copy. So when you're reading an article, that's the body copy, and there's links within there sprinkled. And these contextual links provide additional information or directs users to related articles, resources, or sources. Let's say you cited some resource, then you can source that. Enhances the reader's understanding of the topic by providing more information about it. And giving them like a heads up, hey, why don't you check out this as well if you're interested in this topic that relates to it, or check out this resource that relates to this topic, etc. So these hold the most value when it comes to passing on authority to other pages. So just make sure when you're creating content to link strategically. Next is structural links. So structural links are like, we already mentioned a few, like navigational menus, category listings, site maps, things that like basically give you an overview of the site structure. And this helps organize and connect different parts of the website together. So it makes it easier for users and search engines to navigate and understand the site's architecture. It also helps with crawling. So when search engines come across these structural links or site maps, they can easily discover all the pages on the site and make sure they're indexed. So creating an internal linking strategy. So we'll go through a few different steps that you can follow, make it easy. So step one is determine your website structure. So understand what pages exist on your website and structural hierarchy between them. Then you want to export the sitemap onto a spreadsheet and then sort and categorize them by section. So I usually do this by doing it alphabetical, so you can easily kind of see the pages and how they fall together. Especially if there's like 2 or 3 levels, they'll be sorted like that. So this will be easier to get a bird's eye view of your site. Step 2 is to flag important content. So this is where you would highlight the most important pages on your website that you absolutely want your audience to discover and read, like category pages or pillar pages, or really important pages that are must reads. These are, yeah, like I said, these are known pillar pages or key pages, and these will help you build the topic clusters in future steps. So that should be step 3. Flag important. Step 2 is flag important content. After selecting the pillar pieces, link them from the most appropriate places. So the main menu, sidebar, contextual links, all of that. Step 3, create topic clusters and add contextual links. So for each of the pillar pages or key pages that you found, try to find related pages across the site that are within the page's structure hierarchy. And then, or if you don't have any additional pages, come up with topics to form new pages around those. So let's say you have like a page about offsite SEO. Well, there's lots of topics that could spin off from that, like backlinking strategies or citations or anchored off-page anchor text, or there's so many topics that could spin off from that. So if you don't already have those pages, think about what topics could you form a cluster around that. So then link out from that pillar page to any child pages or related pages from there. Step 4 is to identify high authority pages. High authority meaning like high domain authority, high page authority, lots of links from there. So you want to identify those and link. So how do you do that? Use various tools out there. You can you just have to look find a page authority tool, and then basically go on there, look at the page authority, and then sort it from high to low, and then link from these pages to any relevant pages to share and pass on the link equity. So that will spread that authority on and help those other pages start ranking as well. Step 5, link hierarchical pages. So if not already, make sure you enable the breadcrumb links on your site. That is, if you have at least 2 levels of hierarchy. So maybe you just have a small site, or your client just has a small site, then it's not necessary. But if you have quite a few pages, and let's say you have levels 2 or even 3 deep, then it'd be worth enabling that. So you want to link down from parent pages to child pages, and ideally up from child pages to parent pages. So both ways. Step 6, add related, new, and popular post section. Let's say you have a blog, and then this is an automatic way to add relevant internal links. So you can basically enable this in your CMS if you have WordPress or Shopify or any other ones that have blogging functionalities. If it's not built in, you can find plugins, and then you can have like the widgets at the bottom that has like a related posts or new posts or popular post section, and that will basically automatically create internal links to those other articles, and that will boost the page authority to those pages, especially let's say it's a new page. Then it will help distribute some of that link equity on. Step 7 is to add navigational links. So this is where you add the key or pillar pages to the most appropriate navigational sections of your site, like the main menu, any prominent sidebar menus, or any category menus if you have like subcategories and whatnot. So just make sure that it's easy and logical and organized. So this helps for easy navigation for users when they're on the site. All right, so let's talk about some best practices when doing internal linking. We already covered the strategy, but here's a few things to keep in mind when you're doing it. Use keyword-rich anchor text. And I say that with a grain of salt because we don't want to overdo this. It's important not to overdo this because then it's keyword stuffing. You want it to be natural. You want it to be useful. You want it to be helpful for the person. So the anchor text is the text that is highlighted by the hyperlink, in case you didn't know. And it's really crucial for optimizing both the user experience, but also search engine visibility and context. So make sure to include relevant keywords. So these are keywords that relate to the page that you're linking to. So it should be clear, should be descriptive cues about the content that the person about to click on the link can expect about that page. So I'll show you an example in a moment, but it just needs to be really clear what they're gonna go to. So here's an agency tip. So use the Hike SEO platform to do, or anyone can do this who has a Hike SEO account to do keyword research and then keyword mapping. And that makes it easier to do internal linking once you know which pages are focused around which topics, because then you know what to link to, right? If you haven't mapped certain keywords or topics to certain pages, then when you go to other pages to start linking from, you're not clear. So that's the first step, is make sure you do the keyword research and mapping. And then once you know that, it'll be much easier to do the internal linking. So here's an example. So this is on our Learn SEO page, technical SEO. And I've highlighted 3 links here. So these are internal links to different pages. The first one says, the anchor text is crawl a website. So it's pretty clear that this page is about website crawling. The next one is index pages effectively. So it's about page indexing and possibly related around search engine indexing. And so it's clear that this is where it would lead. And C is 404 not found pages. Obviously, it's going to go talk about 404s. So make it easy, make it natural as well. You don't want to just have the exact match keywords. You might want to have just once in a while. Ensure the anchor text feels natural and contextually relevant within the content. You don't want it to sound awkward. You want it to be, you'd rather write a piece of content and then link from the naturally occurring phrases or words within there, rather than going back and artificially inserting things. That's just not the right way to do that. So yeah, just stay away from over optimization because it can hurt your SEO. So linking to important pages, you want to strategically link to important pages like the homepage, key product or service pages, or cornerstone or pillar content. This guides users to critical information, but also highlights significance to search engines. Use different anchor text for different pages. So this is a common mistake, especially for beginners sometimes, using the same anchor text for different pages, but you want to vary that to make sure it's clear to users and search engines what each link page is about. So you don't want to overlap on anything if possible. Otherwise, it would just lead to confusion for both users and search engines. Let's say you have 2 pages and they're clearly talking about 2 different subjects, but the anchor text that you're linking to each one is the same. Obviously, that's going to be confusing. So we'll wrap up here talking about Hike and internal linking. So in Hike's action engine, it will actually flag up if you need to do some internal linking on the site, and it will encourage you to start using some of the keywords that you flagged to link to that page. So that will help you and guide you in terms of doing that in case you're not sure. So questions time. So let's go to the chat. If you have any questions, please put them in there. All right. So would subdomains count as an internal link? David, that's a great question. No, they wouldn't necessarily, because it's a different subdomain, and as such, Google kind of treats it as a separate website. And even though it would know it's related and under the same domain, internal links on a pure basis would be between one subdomain or one main domain. Are pillar pages the same as cornerstone content, Chris? Yeah, basically the same thing. Pillar pages, cornerstone content, key pages, same thing. They're like, let's say, like a category page or main topic that you'll spin off multiple pages from eventually. Gordon, is there any sort of AI tool that can help logically do the heavy lifting here for linking opportunities? It's a great question. There's many tools and plugins out there, not off the top of my head, but for example, in WordPress, there's different tools, plugins that can kind of highlight internal linking, but I would be cautious to do automated internal linking because not always the machine gets the context right. So it's always good to review them, and it's always good to do it manually because you'll know the exact context as to why you're doing that. Yeah, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't have any specific plugins at the moment. Rank Math and Yoast can definitely help. Rank Math, I believe, has some sort of built-in functionality there, so that can help recommend some internal linking. Ultimately, at the basic level, you could just go to a page and just do Control F or Command F if you're on Mac, and just type in a keyword or a keyword phrase, and then it'll highlight it in the content, and then you can easily like jump to that section and an internal link to create an internal link to a relevant page. Or even on WordPress, when you link to something, you can start typing a keyword and it'll bring up a relevant page with that title, and then you can link to that as well. Okay, David, your ideas on this tool. I haven't come across that tool before, so fortunately I can't offer any advice on that. Apologies. Warren, when linking to internal blog pages, is it better to use a whole URL or better to select a specific page within the website's linking? So I'm assuming that you mean like linking directly to a blog article rather than linking to the blog portal page. Is that right? Yeah, okay. I'll answer both questions just in case. But yeah, it's not better or worse. It's just if you want to, if the intention is to lead people to the blog page with all the blogs, then make it clear then that's the intention, like visit the blog or something, or view our SEO blog here, and then it links to the blog page. However, if you're linking to a specific article that talks about a specific topic, then link directly to that and make the anchor text relevant as well. Is it a good idea in WordPress to have a pillar page as children of the homepage? Yeah, so basically pillar pages can be like category level pages. And basically any pages other than the homepage are technically children of the homepage, because the homepage is like root level, and then any other page would be underneath that in that sense. But pillar, yeah, okay. Any advice on best practice for blog pagination? So typically in CMSs now, these are automatically done, the paginations. So it's just automatically created. So there's no real, yeah, most of these platforms automatically do it. So I'm not quite sure on the question that you had specifically, Joe, on that. Okay, we have an apartment complex trying to rank for different cities. Should we have the homepage target the highest traffic search-wise? Should we go for something easier to rank for? And things other than we want to rank for. Right, so about creating like location-specific pages and then having them internally linked from the homepage. So let's say you have a business with like different headquarters or different centers in different cities. You can create different landing pages for each one, granted that it's a physical location or it's a service area, and then you can internal link from different parts of the site, from the homepage, like in the footer or in the main menu if it's relevant, to those different places, and that'll allow people to find the relevant location that they're in as well, and that will help distribute some link equity there too. Okay. See. Oh yeah. So sorry with using the full blog title be considered as keyword stuffing? Okay, that's a question. So when you're linking to like a blog page, try to vary the anchor text based on what is the core topic of that blog post. So let's say the blog is how to, I don't know, how to do roofing in your area. So then obviously it's about roofing, and you can do different topics, different keyword phrases, or different variations of that when you link to that page. So make it very variable. It doesn't hurt having the exact title, but just use it like once. And the rest you can just have various other relevant keywords about that topic. Cool. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, if not, I hope you guys found that useful and helpful. And if you have any other questions about internal linking, do reach out to us at support. You can watch the video on YouTube once the recording's uploaded, and we'll go from there. And definitely check out the Learn SEO Hub, hikeseo.co/learn. There are a lot of articles there, and it's expanding every week. So useful there. Also, the YouTube channel, always releasing new videos there every week as well. So definitely check that out, and it will help both in using Hike, but also your understanding of SEO. Cool. Have a great week, everyone. Rest of your week, and we'll speak soon.